G'day, Kathy Williams-Devries here from Brisbane, Australia, bringing you another geology of Brisbane video. This is just a spur of the moment thing. It just happened to be such a beautiful winter's day here in Brisbane that I thought I'd go for a drive. So here we are. So today I'm going to bring you through the Dagular range, which is sort of 10 to 35 kilometres west of Brisbane. Lots of different rocks, lots of different ages, rock beds, granodiorite, diorite, andesite, basalt. Alright, I'm here at the Bellbird Pocket Lookout, and I'm going to show you an example. Bellbird Grove. So we're up on Mount Nebo Road, which follows on from Waterworks Road. It's very popular with the bikers of a weekend, and you can hear them. Windy road, they absolutely love it. So Mount Nebo was formed sort of 300 million to 235 million years ago as part of the upthrust, as part of the subduction story. So sort of 370 million years ago, this was deep ocean as part of a subduction zone. And as you'll see in the rocks, a lot of crushing and metamorphisms going on. So here we go. Alright, so this is a typical example of your bunyaphyllite. So it's an old metasedimentary metamorphic sequence of the Brisbane district, upthrust to four mountains 300 to 235 million years ago. Cool, huh? So if we get up close and personal with this, you can see the different layers. So there's a bit of a sheen to the rocks. There's a sort of newer bit for you. Hang on, here we go. So the sheen in the rocks caused by flaky mica minerals that recrystallised in the rocks under intense heat and pressure. And the flaky crystals lie all in the same plane, which gives the phyllite its characterised layered appearance. Now if we pull out a little bit, you can see that the foliation is dipping at about 45 degrees to the southwest. Can you see that? There you go. See how it's dipping? It's on an angle. So this may or not be parallel to the beds of the original sediments. Alright folks, so I'm taking a detour to McAfee's Lookout. So we've passed into the Naranli Fernvale beds, crossing the may or may not exist Kenmore fault. And then we're going to go on to Jolly's lookout. But so what are we going to see here? We're going to see some really, really nice views. So as you can see, we're here. So the original landholders on the hillside were the McAfee family, first to settle on the Dagular Range. And we got a couple of, we're close to a couple of water sources. Lake Ivanhoe, which they built for flood mitigation. Didn't work too well in 2011. And Lake Samson Vale as well. So we'll be able to have a look at those as well. Come back to you in a sec. And we'll have a look at the Samford Valley. Alright, so I'm here at McAfee's lookout overlooking the Samford Valley. We'll get a better view of it at Jolly's lookout, but actually you can see right in Moreton Bay, and I believe that's Moreton Island across the bay there. So the Samford Valley was formed because of the intrusion of granodiorite from 220 million years ago was more resistant to erosion than the Noranli Fernvale beds, and so it carved out a lovely valley. And you're going to see that a little bit better in a sec when I go to Jolly's lookout, and we'll look at some andesite from an old volcano back 220 million years ago. So very, very pretty. And I can tell you that it's a winter's day here, and absolutely beautiful. All right. We're now at the Camp Mountain lookout, and what you can see, those two mountains in the distance, are actually the Glasshouse Mountains. Volcanic plugs formed of rhyolite when southeast Queensland passed over the Australian hotspot a number of years ago, between 20 and 30 million years ago. So we're looking at the Samford Valley, and you can see right over, I think there's the South Pine Dams over there. Sorry?
We've got the comments you kept calling me.
And you can see right to the bay, which is amazing. So as I said, Samford Valley formed because the intrusion of the Samford granodiorite wasn't as resistant to weathering as the Noranli Fernvale beds, which are considerably older. There you go, you can see that's a real good shot of the bay.
No, I don't want to get too cold either, no, because every time I start climbing again it starts hurting, so yeah.
So, there you go, lovely view of the Samford Valley.
She took all my security off before. Just
And the Glasshouse Mountains. See if I can get any closer. No. Yep. And it's a beautiful winter's day. And the Aborigines hunted in these mountains, found plenty of fruit, honey, nectar, seeds and ferns. There's some bora rings around here as well. They had held ceremonies there. And they built shelters, humpies, from saplings and bark. Alright, so here we have an example by the side of the road of some Samford granodiorite. So as you can see, the magma cooled very slowly, and you got some lovely, I wonder if we can get some sparkles. So it formed relatively large minerals, and you can actually see some darker fragments. Can you see that darker fragment there? There's a darker fragment there. There's a big one over here. Hang on. Look at that. Oh, look at that. So that's actually part of an earlier intrusion. A diorite. So you got your granodiorite and your diorite. And so rounded boulders set in decomposed material beneath sandy soil are quite typical of the weathering of granitic rocks. Here's another one for you. Sparkle. I can see the sparkles. Can you see the sparkles? I don't know if you can see the sparkles. Let's have a look at a few more of these. It's probably a lot of weathering, but you get the general idea. Let's have a look at this one. Actually, here's a nice light coloured one, and you see the little black dots. That's an earlier intrusion. It's the same with the Anogra granite, in that there was more than one sort of intrusion event happening. So you go, there's those little darker bits. Onwards and upwards, and we'll have a look at some andesite. Alright, so here we are at Jolly's Lookout, and I forgot my dead cat, so all you're going to hear is wind noise. But we're on the remains of an old volcano. So it's not a true end, it's an andesite. We're overlooking the Samford Valley. So you can see part of the Dagular Range. We've got Mount O'Reilly, and in the distance, if I zoom in, see those little bumps? But those are the Glasshouse Mountains. So I'll zoom out again so you can just see the Glasshouse Mountains. That body of water there is the North Pine Dam. It's a water source here in Brisbane. So those Glasshouse Mountains are named by Captain Cook because from a distance they looked like glass houses. To state the bleeding obvious, I suppose. And you got Mount O'Reilly and Mount Nebo. And on a day like today, well, pretty much all Brisbane winter days are very spectacular. You can see right into the bay. That would be Moreton Island. And you can see into Brisbane as well. So, yeah. So an andesite's not a true lava. It's more breccia, an agglomerate, composed of fragments that were blasted out of the vent and then later solidified. These volcanoes 220 million years ago were pretty violent, as you saw by my video on the Brisbane Tuff. Pretty explosive bastards. And they reckon that the andesite here is actually the Samford granodiorite that actually got to the surface. So there you go. That's your Samford Valley. Isn't it beautiful? and being able to see right into the bay. I mean, you just don't get a better view than that. And I just love the look of the Dagular Mountains. Beautiful, and then the Glasshouse Mountains as well. So it's a beautiful sheen. It's a beautiful blue and green on a beautiful winter's day. Just outside of Brisbane, in the Dagular National Park, formerly the Brisbane National Park. You see just a few fluffy clouds. And the air here is crisp and clean. And it's an absolute joy to get out of the suburbs, out of Brisbane. There you go. So we're at Jolly's Lookout, top of some Permian or Triassic period andesite. I think they'd have a little bit more geological information here, but nope. Alright, and we'll continue on to Mount Nebo. Mount Nebo is just formed by uplifted and crushed sediments, whereas Mount Glorious is actually a hotspot story from 27 million years ago, just like the Glasshouse Mountains were. Glasshouse Mountains being rhyolitic plugs. Probably related to the Mullaney volcano, to be quite honest. It's up in that general direction. But the thing is, while we do have the andesite, the volcanoes are no longer around because we're talking 220 million years ago. Okay, so we're into the Samford diorite proper. So it has a high proportion of dark minerals, biotite and hornblende, and you got your iron, magnesium and calcium. And this is probably a small, possibly early part of the diorite mass, the Samford granite diorite. So here's another one. Get a gander at that. That's just another piece of rock. But have a look at this baby. I don't know what this baby is, but he looks interesting. It's probably a intrusion into the intrusion, I suppose. Oh, look at this one. Hang on. Look at that. Whoa. Oh my god. Eh? So this is an interesting little one as well. And this one. So I'm just having a look at the local rocks. There's an interesting looking one. I bet Nick can tell me what that is. And here, there's an interesting looking rock with probably a few iron impurities in it. Let's see if I can spot a few more. Oh, this baby looks interesting. Look at that. Hey? So, oh, no, that's this guy. Look at this guy. Oh, look at that. This is pretty old. Now we're talking 220 million years old. And yeah, this used to be deep underground. And now it's not. So awful lot of erosion has gone on. Unfortunately, I can't get down to the creek bed. There's been a lot of landslides here. So let's have, well, we're here to see rocks, aren't we? There you go. Pretty rock. Pretty rock. Pretty rock. Well, hang on, let's have a look at this one. Oh, look at that pretty rock. Wish I had a rock hammer. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning. And there you go, there's your, as I said, disgranodiorite. Get some of that mud off. Disgranodiorite you can see in various buildings around the CBD in Brisbane, like City Hall and the casino and the Treasury Hotel. Lots of different buildings. So this is where it comes from. I'm right here. I love that rock. Look at that. Oh, pretty rock. Pretty rock. Oh, I never knew that rock hunting could be so fun. Look at that. Pretty rock. Pretty rock. You can see various, I suppose, layers. So I have no idea what I'm looking at, but the rocks are pretty. There we go. After all, geology is for everyone, not just for geologists. So I'm sure some bright spark can tell me what all these are. Look at that. Look at this one. Hang on. This one. There. Look at that rock. So lots of interesting rocks. Very old rocks. Alright, onwards and upwards. Mount Glorious. Only 20 million years old. So here I am at Westridge Lookout, and this is constructed on a hard, very resistant bed of quartzite. So get a gander at that. So we're out of the intrusion now. It's hard to get a, I'd have to split it open with a hammer. I don't have a hammer. But, there's the rock. Looks pretty weathered. But alright, I'm going to go up the top of the lookout. Alright, so just taking a little bit of a bushwalk up on the lookout. Oh Lord, isn't that an impressive rock? That's an impressive rock. Very weathered, very old, obviously. As I said, this is, what's this say? So this rock's 300 million years old. And it was slimy ooze on the deep ocean floor. And then two separate plates of the Earth's crust collided beneath the ocean. So it's silica-rich ooze. Hardened to become quartzite, and the mud hardened into argillite. So, yeah, you look at it, 300 million year old rock. It used to be deep ocean floor. That's impressive. Keep walking. Sorry about the wind, didn't bring my dead cat. Toowoomba. And I believe you could probably see a little bit of the Ivanhoe Dam as well. There's a water, I can see a water source there. So you can see Lowood, Toowoomba, right through to the Great Dividing Range. Yes, that is Lake Ivanhoe. Isn't that impressive? We go from the Dagular Range into the Great Dividing Range. You can't see Esk, but the mountain up at Esk is an old intrusion. I thought it was a volcano, didn't quite make it. So that flat bit there is the Lockyer Valley, and those mountains in the distance, Great Dividing Range. Ocean, deep ocean. Nice little walk. Hoping you can hear something above the wind. I should have brought my dead cat, but this was a spur of the moment trip. So there's your bush. And here's more of this primordial ooze, rich in silica. 300 million year old rock. Rock on. And the Australian bush beautiful. Isn't it just absolutely spectacular? I love my country. I don't get out and do it often enough. But isn't it just spectacular? There's that rock again. 300 million year old ocean floor. And then once it came to the surface, well, the water above kind of went to town on it. Okay, so I'm here at Western Lookout. Alright, I'll give you a look at the Western Lookout. But what I wanted to show you is we're now standing on only 27 million year old basalt, and when basalt weathers you get these rich red soils, rich red, what we call volcanic soils here in Brisbane. So I'm going down the track, going on a bit of a bushwalk. So come on Gizmo. So you can see those rich red decomposed basalt. So going down on a bit of a bushwhack, because should be able to go down and see some basalt columns and outlines of previous flows. You see that rich red. You don't get these rich red soils in Brisbane City, apart from the Redlands. But the Redlands are technically Brisbane City. Yeah, Redland Shire. Brisbane's actually a pretty big place. So hang on, I'll just bring you back out. better concentrate because this isn't a very wide path. And I think I'm about to go down, so I'm going to have to concentrate and turn you off. Yep, alright, turning you off. So I just had to show you another piece of this basalt. So you can see the weathered bit is got a red tinge to it, and then you got your darker basalt from a bit that's been broken off. Pretty rock. And you see the sparkles. So I've run out of time today, I've got to get home. But I hope you've enjoyed my little trip through the Dagular Range, and I'll see you next time.